Welcome to the Southern California Prep Insider Football Podcast. Tommy Moore, Shotgun Spradling here to give you the top 10, some good players from last week, and predict some winners. And Shotgun, your weekly hat of doom. This was
The
an
weekly
easy
hat
one.
of doom.
This was an
Yes,
easy one, I think.
I don't represent the Los Angeles Dodgers, but I do have a couple Brooklyn Dodgers hats, and even the Trolley Dodger old fans from the '40s are very upset about this one. Game 7, unfortunately, not as good of a game as the rest of the series. Was really hoping for that, but congratulations to the Astros. That's a very fun team to watch. Altuve, Springer, Correa, Bregman, very young core. They're going to be good for a while. Adding Verlander, that could be a fun team to watch for many years down the line. And, the Dodgers going to be very good too, but they get the hat of doom this week after not being able to come through in Game 7 at home.
And they could have actually just ended that game after the first half of the first inning, and it would have been fine. Nothing would have happened. It would have been all the same. Shotgun, let's get right into it. Our top 10 teams, for the week.
Top 10, we got some moving and shaking a little bit. Serra falls out after Santa Margarita beats them on a 2-point conversion. Very exciting game that I was at. Arizona commit, tight end commit, Jake Peters with a catch on that one to get them the win.
Who we interviewed, so check that out on YouTube.
Oh, check that out, definitely. Yeah. So moving into the top 10, I got Calabasas. They're 8-1. They beat Thousand Oaks 40-14. That young core of receivers that can do a lot, and Jaden Casey that can throw it all over the place. So they're a fun team to watch as well. They're young and fun. They throw it around. They score a bunch of points, 40 more this week against Thousand Oaks. Number 9, Long Beach Poly, talking about scoring points. Beating up on the teams in Long Beach. They score 64 this week, beating Lakewood 64-0 in that one. Matt Corral, the Florida commit, 14-19, 300 yards, 6 TDs. Jalen Hall with 2 of those. He had 71 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Shari Crosswell had a 35-yard touchdown run and also returned a kickoff for a score, which will become a theme this week. A lot of kickoff returns for scores. Number 8, I got Rancho Cucamonga 8-1. They beat Damien 56-9. Chaminade at number 7. They beat Notre Dame 40-35. Chris Rankins with a pick 6 to seal that game. Big important win up in the valley. Chaminade having to beat Notre Dame, Sherman Oaks. Number 6, I got San Clemente. They're now 9-0. They beat Trabuco Hills 56-21. Stay undefeated. Upland also stays undefeated, 9-0, beating Etowanda 77-21. St. John Bosco, they beat Servite 42-17, kind of pulling away after a close first half. DJ Uwalele, 25-36, 337 yards and 4 TD passes. He had 11 different receivers. Only a sophomore. Kid's going to be great. George Halani, the running back, 214 yards and 2 TDs. And Colby Bowman, 5 catches, 88 yards and a TD. And also added a commitment to Stanford this week. So congratulations to him on that commitment. Number 3, we got Centennial 7-1. They beat Norco 63-28. This was a tie game at halftime. And then Centennial
I got excited. I got excited at halftime.
Yeah.
Remember I called that? Remember my call?
Yeah, you should have known better. Centennial, the offense just pulls away after halftime. Chris Venable, how about this game? 5 catches, 149 yards, 2 TDs. Very nice game offensively. But then on the defensive side, he gets an interception, also forced a fumble and recovered it. Both of those turnovers led to touchdowns. That was part of the reason why Centennial was able to pull away in that one. Number 2, staying at number 2, Mission Viejo. They're idle. Big game this week, obviously. We'll talk about later with San Clemente coming up. And number 1, staying undefeated, 9-0, Mater Dei. They beat Orange Lutheran 51-21. JT Daniels, 336 yards, 5 TDs passing. 3 of those to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who had 7 catches for 114 yards. That team just keeps on rolling. Someone's going to have to beat them to get them out of the number 1 spot because they're just too good right now.
All right, so there's top 10 for this week in the Southern section. Now on to guys who had good games. Last week.
Guys that had some good games. You want some of those?
Can I start? Can I go first?
Fine.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, you have to do the top 10, so I got to go first. Share a little bit. Come on.
All right, I'll be nice.
All right, so you talked about Santa Margarita a little bit earlier. I will talk about them as well. Chad Magyar, 24 carries, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns in their win over Jay Serra, as you said. Jay Serra's Eli Jefferson had a great game in that one, too, with 227 yards and 3 touchdowns. So a couple good games from a couple guys, but Santa Margarita, as you said, came out on top in that one. La Mirada, Angel Favela with 293 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns from La Mirada. Go to Tesora with Joe Morenick, 278 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns because it was all over the field. Over at Los Altos, it was Cody Olmos with 181 rushing yards and a touchdown, and San Dimas, Dylan Ware, 272 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. Anytime you score 5 touchdowns, you get to be on this list by default. And so those are my guys that had good games last week. Shotgun, would you care to entertain us with yours?
I've got several. We got some workhorses today. Also, just point out, Eli Jefferson is the backup running back coming in for Jay Serra in that game. Al Fisher was not able to go with an ankle injury. Eli Jefferson, a small kid, but he was running with some heart out there. Running through some tackles, and I was really impressed by his game. Abdul Malik McLean, their star defensive end, also had a sack in that one, had a couple big plays. So, that was a fun game back and forth. And give credit to Santa Margarita. They score with 30 seconds left. Hey, you know what? Let's go for 2. They go for 2, and they get it. Nice rollout pass. They throw back to the tight end. Big win for them in the Trinity League there.
Side question. I love that call. Do you like that call? I always love that call.
Yeah, when it works, I love it.
I think you got a better than 50% chance of getting that thing.
Hey, when you're on the road, it was Jay Serra's homecoming. They had a great lights out, lights performance at halftime. The place was rocking. Both the student sections were going back and forth. The Catholic school battle. I think when you're on the road in that situation, it's good to go for 2. Go ahead and try to get the win. Similar to what Utah did with USC. Some people chastised Kyle Whittingham for that decision, but hey, when you're on the road in a hostile environment, I think going for 2 in regulation and stealing all the thunder is the way to go.
I agree.
All right, so let's get to some standout players. How about Noah Guzman? If you didn't see this one, look it up on YouTube. Bishop Amat had a sick one-handed TD grab in that one. Nick Nash at Woodbridge, 31 carries, 323 yards rushing, 6 TDs.
One up me.
But that's just on the ground. He also played some quarterback. He added 2 more. So 8 TDs. He passed for 2 TDs in a 56-28 win over University. Big game for Nick Nash from Woodbridge. Daniel Asiata from Villa Park, 12 tackles, 2 sacks, a 22-yard pick 6 in a 57-25 win over Canyon. His teammate Devin Gill, 93-yard kickoff return TD. Like I said, this is going to be a theme. Noel Posey from Fullerton, 10-yard TD run, had a 42-yard pick 6 as well, 34-10 win over rival Troy. His quarterback, Gavin Klepper, ran for 131, also threw for 223 yards, and ran in 2 TDs himself. Sam Delgadilla from Savannah, 24 carries, 222 yards, 3 TDs, and a 58-34 win over Santa Ana Valley. DeLon Hurt in the loss for Servite had 7 catches, 127 yards, and a TD against St. John Bosco's really good secondary. So anytime you put up those numbers, worth noting there. Very nice game from him. St. Margaret's James Mott had 301 yards passing, 4 TDs. He ran for another 2 of those passes to Ryan Cragen, who has 14 TD catches. I think that's tied for the most in Orange County right now. He's a guy that we've mentioned a couple times on this show. David Atencio from Edison, another guy we've mentioned before, 8 catches, 157 yards, 3 TDs, in a 51-14 win over Fountain Valley in the battle for the bell. They get the bell, keeping it this year. Workhorse KC Carr, the third, from Tustin, 46 carries, 229 yards, 2 TDs, and a loss to Pacifica. 46 sounds like a lot, right?
Ice bath game.
Ice bath game. We're going to get even more impressive ice bath game in a minute. Isaac Hurtado from Cypress, 193 yards, rushing 4 TDs in a 49-21 win over Western. The sophomore also had a sack and an interception on defense. That's helping out the team in several facets. His teammate Dominic Thompson also did it 2 ways: a 52-yard screen pass he took for a TD and a 90-yard kickoff return TD. Damian Ornlis from Corona Santiago, a game-winning 40-yard field goal with 2 seconds left to beat Roosevelt 31-28. Gotta love the game-winning walk-off. Justin Keeling, Valley View, 21 carries, 191 yards, 4 TDs, and a comeback win over JW North 33-26 for Valley View there. Marquise Spiker from Murrieta Valley, he's one of the best receivers on the West Coast for sure, maybe in the country. Washington commit, held to 4 catches for 39 yards, but he decided, you know what, I'm going to take this opening kickoff back in the second half. He took it 89 yards for TD to open up a 49-21 win over Great Oak. Drew Kuykendall, I hope I'm saying that right, from Chaparral, 23-yard pick 6 for the deciding score and an upset of Murrieta Mesa. Stanley Dixon also had a 94-yard kickoff return TD and a 12-yard rushing TD for the Pumas. Love it that they're the Pumas. I love some Pumas.
Great logo or mascot.
Yeah, much better than the Cougars. Go with the Puma, right? Or the Mountain Lions. over the Cougars. Better nickname. Same animal.
Or Chupacabra.
Ooh, even better. That's a different animal, though. That's the ghost devil. How about Mac Fennell from Riverside, Notre Dame? 15 of 21, 384 yards, 5 TDs, and a 57-7 win over Linfield. His top receiver was Ashton Otherman. He had 6 catches, 178 yards, and 3 TDs. Arthur Hoskins from Moreno Valley, 137 yards rushing, 4 TDs, and a 28-8 win. That means you got all 4 TDs if you only score 28 points. Good job for Arthur. Keanu Campbell-Caldwell from Milliken, 17 of 25, 348 yards, 5 TDs, and a 46-20 win over Long Beach Wilson. He also had a rushing score, so he had 6 touchdowns. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Keon Foots from Downey, he ran for 142. He passed for 124, 4 combined TDs, 3 on the ground, 1 through the air. And the Ice Bath Award goes to Patriots Eric Garcia. 50 carries. 50. That's ridiculous.
That should be illegal.
That should be carrying the ball 50 times. Come on, coach. Get a backup in that.
Are there any other plays in the playbook?
Now, Eric Garcia is the backup for Patriot. He had to fill in for an injury to their starter. However, there's got to be somebody else that can carry the rock once or twice. Give this man a break. But 50 carries, close game. He had 284 yards, 3 TDs, and a 35-27 win over La Sierra. Congratulations to Eric Garcia, and get that man a bucket of ice.
All right, there's our ice bucket winner. Shaka, should we get to some game picks?
Sure.
All right, these are all games findable on the Fox Sports Go app. Make sure you check it out. The last game we're going to predict is available on TV on Fox Sports Prime Ticket. So you don't even need that for that one, but get the app anyway. Starting with team we already talked about a little bit earlier. It's Long Beach Poly traveling to Serra. For Long Beach Poly, Darius Krieger and Cameron McDonald both have over 500 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns apiece. So very dynamic pieces on offense for Poly. For Serra, Merlin Robinson leading the team in tackles with 104 already this season. He's got offers from schools in pretty much every single major conference. I'm going to go with Poly on this one. I think they have too many weapons, and they're kind of coming into form right now as we saw them come back into our top 10. What do you think, Shotgun?
I like Poly in this game. However, they're going to be without one weapon, as Jalen Hall, they're one of their star receivers, 4 or 5-star guy, is going to be unavailable for this game after getting 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties in the last game. One of them, a teammate brought out a robe and draped it over his shoulders. Great celebration. On the field. Does not work in the high school game. That will get you a 15-yard penalty. The NFL has opened up their rules. The high school game has not.
That's a penalty in the NFL too, I feel like.
Maybe. Depends on how they feel about props, But he also got another one for his second touchdown. He kind of fell into the end zone and got a flag thrown. Don't know if he knew the first one was on him. Unfortunate in such a marquee game that they would not have one of their big weapons there. So Serra, has an opportunity. They have a lot of weapons on that team as well. Brian Addison's a guy in the secondary and can play receiver. It makes a lot of catches away from his body. This is going to be a matchup with a ton of star players in it. However, I'm going to take Long Beach Poly. Their defense has been great all season long, and I think it'll carry them to a victory in this one.
Hey, as long as you didn't do the Key and Peele 3 pumps, that's okay with me. 2 is okay, 3 not so much. Moving on to our next game. It's Cathedral at St. Francis. This is the Angeles League Championship, by the way. Both these teams are top of the league, and this is the last game. Cathedral quarterback Bryce Young is only a sophomore, and the leading receiver for Cathedral is Josiah Zamora, who's only a freshman. So watch out for these kids as they get older into their high school careers. For St. Francis, Elijah Washington has 16 rushing touchdowns so far this season. I'm going to go with the home team. I'll go St. Francis.
St. Francis coming off a 77-point effort versus Harvard Westlake. QB Darius Parentis had 4 TDs and had a 62-yard touchdown running that. But this is a little bit different defense than Harvard Westlake. Cathedral defense has Khalid Jabril, who's a terror off the edge as a linebacker, safety. He's been looked at by a number of Pac-12 schools, as well as Washington State commit Victor Terry III as a linebacker. And they have 2019, a top 100 D-line prospect in Stephon Wright. The Cathedral has a very good defense, and I really like Bryce Young, so I'm going to take Cathedral to get the win here.
All right, there we go. We differ on that one. We got Bishop Amat now going to Chaminade. Bishop Amat, guy I want to talk about UCLA commit. Aaron Maldonado, he's a force at defensive tackle. You don't see a lot of defensive tackles with sacks, but he's already got 10.5 this season, so that's pretty good for Aaron. Chaminade is, I think you mentioned him earlier, Michael Wilson, Stanford-bound wide receiver, 41 catches, 836 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Bishop Amat, a good team, but they have played a brutal schedule. So unfortunately, I'm going to go with Chaminade, and I don't look at Bishop Amat's record because it's not accurate as to how good of a team they are. But I'm going to go with Chaminade.
Yeah, Bishop Amat is a team that I believe at one time was like 2-5 and still in some people's top 25s. I believe they are 2-4, maybe. I believe they're 5-4 now. So they're coming into this game. However, I like Chaminade. Andrew Van Buren is just such a tough back to tackle. The Boise State commit has been running through arm tackles all season long. I think he racks up 200 yards in this one. I got Chaminade winning.
Next game we got is Heritage at Paloma Valley. This is the Sun Belt League Championship. Again, both these teams atop the league. These aren't official championship games. It just so happens that these teams are at the top of the league, and it's the last game of the season. For Paloma Valley, Middle Tennessee State commit quarterback Chance Nolan, 2,396 passing yards and 29 touchdowns. That is good enough for me. I'll go with Paloma Valley.
I'm going to take Heritage in this. They got some weapons out there. I believe Heritage is coming off a loss. Or no, excuse me, that's Roosevelt. But Heritage is lost a couple weeks ago. I think that they kind of ride the ship. They won 62-0, 2 weeks ago. I think that they're a team that has some firepower, and I think they'll put up some points in this one.
All right, final game. Again, this is the TV game on Fox Sports Prime Ticket. Watch it at 7:30 p.m. on Friday night. It is San Clemente, Mission Viejo. As far as we're concerned, this is number 5 versus number 2. I'm going to stick with our rankings here, and I'm going to take the home team, Mission Viejo. I know there's a bunch of star players we can talk about. I'll let you do that, but I'm going to take Mission Viejo. I've seen both these teams in action so far this year, and Viejo has impressed me a little bit more. Yeah,
you got to look at San Clemente. He's got Brendan Costello at quarterback. How he goes will determine how this game can go for San Clemente. I think their defense has been really good. They can get off the field on third downs. They do a really good job on that end. Jack Ship, the model/safety has been very good for him.
But why male models?
He's so good. I mean, that's why. Mission Viejo, though, they're going to hold a ceremony before the game honoring retiring Coach Bob Johnson. I think that's going to be motivation plenty for him. Elijah Griffin, Joey Yellen, there's a lot of weapons there. Austin Osborne, the Washington commit. I think Mission Viejo just kind of overpowers them a little bit to take this one. Very fun matchup and going to be a good one, definitely.
Yeah, it'll be a good one to watch on TV. Again, 7:30 Fox Sports Prime Ticket. Shotgun before we leave for the week. Anything you got to say?
I got a couple of extra games that kind of stood out. Coachella Valley clinched at least a share of the league title in the Deonza League with a little brotherly love effort. As a trio of Fitzgerald brothers, Matt, Angelo, and Donnie all scored touchdowns in a 41-27 win over 29 Palms. And how about, Alan Pacheco had a 6-yard TD run with 32 seconds left to give Santa Ana a 21-15 win over Orange. Pacheco finished with 148 yards rushing. And last but not least, how about a gift for Coach? Coach is not there. You're down 14-13. Pacifica scores the go-ahead score with a minute to go to beat Tustin. And they did it for Coach Vinny Lopez, who missed the game as his wife was having a baby in a nearby hospital. So congratulations to Pacifica and Coach Vinny Lopez on that one.
Do you think Coach Lopez was calling plays from the hospital, from the delivery room?
I mean, if he was calling plays either in the delivery room or at least on the headset, sending them across town to the field. One or the other. Not sure which one, but he was calling some plays for sure.
All right, that'll do it for this week's podcast. We'll see you next week. Go watch some football. Have some fun this weekend. Peace out.